Shalom, welcome to our 5MB series, 5-minute breakdowns. We're going to get right into it. We're going to break down John 8, 3-7. Before we do so, we give honor and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And we give honor to all the elders and all the teachers who are putting in their brick and going to the highways and byways and bringing out the word. So we're going to get right into it. John 8, starting from verse 3. And it says, "And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou?" Verse 6. This they said, tempting him or testing him, that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus, Yahushua, stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. Verse 7. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. So some misunderstandings of this chapter is people always ask me, if we're still under the law, why did not the Jesus instruct them, or Yahushua instruct them to stone her? If we're still under the law, she should have got stoned, right? So let's see what the law says. Leviticus 20, verse 10. "And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife," now watch this, "the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death." Now, let's go back to John 8 and 3. "And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst." Now, watch this. Verse 6. This they said, tempting him or testing him, that they may have to accuse him. So basically, they tested him to have something to accuse him by. How would they accuse him? By seeing how he interpreted the law and how he answered their question. So notice in verse 3, "And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman." We read Leviticus to bring the man and the woman, the adulterer and the adulteress. Where is the man in this context? The man wasn't brought, just the woman. That's what they were trying to test, to see if he would say, go ahead and stone her, because that would have been an unjust punishment if he allowed that. But he didn't allow that. And he said, basically, he just said, you who are without sin, cast the first stone. Basically, you who are bringing judgment on her and putting blame on her, cast the first stone, right? So we see here that they already knew, or Yahushua already knew the intention of the Pharisees that were doing this, that their intentions were just to test him or test his knowledge of the law and to see how he would answer. And how did Yahushua answer? By giving them basically a parable. Hey, if you're without sin, go ahead and cast the first stone, right? Yahushua was wise. He used wisdom. So a lot of Christians will misinterpret that and basically try to say, see, we're not under the law no more because Jesus should have told them to stone this woman, but they didn't stone her, right? Because the man wasn't there. It was just her. And according to the law in Leviticus 20 and 10, it says you are to bring the man and the woman, right? So Yahushua already knew that it was a test. Yahushua already knew the intentions of their heart to test his matters on the law, right? Because even in verse 5, it says, "Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what do you say?" Right? And then it says right after, "This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down with his finger, wrote on the ground as though he heard them not." So we got to understand that Yahushua knew the law. They were testing him. And the law was to bring the adulterer, the man, and the woman, the adulteress. So hopefully you were edified by this. 5MB, 5-minute breakdown series. Shalom.